Hello again, and welcome to another demonstration of PC Building Simulator. Previously, we had completed another batch of repairs and upgrades for several customers, and it's time to have another round, so let's get started. So we have 3 jobs here. Let's look at what we have. First one, hey, I recently upgraded my PC, but now it's not working properly. The computer boots okay, but when I try to benchmark it or run a game, the computer crashes. I haven't replaced my PSU. Could my new parts be drawing too much power? Please help, Damien. So the objectives are install Sheen Power King 600 or better and run 3D Mark. This is good because they're telling us what they need. That's good. I will accept that. Next, missing thermal paste. Hi there, I bought a PC from you 6 months ago, from Tim, and it's been overheating whenever I try and do anything on it. I took a look under the CPU cooler, and there's no thermal paste. What kind of Mickey Mouse business are you running? I demand that you fix this for free, and this time test the PC before you send it back out. Regards, Dr. Waterman. Okay. And we're not getting paid for this. But it's something that Tim did, and of course Tim did warn us about his forgetting to use thermal paste, so we better take this job and make things right. Next job, PC not turning on. Hi there, I hope you can help. My computer stopped working the other day and now will not turn it on at all. Please can you have a look for me? I think it might be the motherboard. If it needs a new one, I know it needs a Skylake socket. That will be good to know. Okay. So we need to replace the motherboard, and he's telling us that it needs a Skylake socket because there are a couple of different socket types on motherboards in this program. Alright. So we know that we need a motherboard that mounts a Skylake socket, and we need a Sheen Power King 600 or better. So what we could do is proactively get these parts ordered, because there's not a lot of variation in what we need. So let's start. Sheen Power King 600 or better. Let's open the shop. Power supplies. Search by Sheen. Sheen Power King 600. Okay, good. Add that to the cart. Now let's look at motherboards. Let's clear our filter. Right now we have 3 motherboards available, that's it. Now the good news is that they're all Skylake, but there are other motherboard types as the game progresses. There are motherboards that are made for AMD CPUs. There are motherboards that use something called the KB Lake architecture instead of Skylake. So for the moment, everything we have is Skylake, so we could just go with the least expensive option, this middle one here for $100. Okay, that'll work. And the third job is missing thermal paste. We don't need anything fancy there. Let's look at our cart. Now, these computers are still in transit. They'll arrive tomorrow, so we can aim for next day delivery and still be good. So let's buy these now. Okay, order will arrive tomorrow. Alright, so time to close up shop for today. Better save some electricity, shut down the computer, turn off the lights, and close up for the day. Once again, we have the calendar. These are the computers that are arriving. We have a delivery of parts coming. So let's end our day. Okay, here we go. Thursday. These are the machines that are arriving. These are the parts that are arriving. So, let's go to work. Here are the machines. Here's our parts. Let's take in our parts. Here's the power supply. Here's the motherboard. Alright, what shall we start with first? Well, let's fix our one customer who needs thermal paste. Put the computer down. Turn on the lights. turn on our computer. Alright. So let's crack the case. There we go. Let's zoom in a little bit. Give us a good look. So we'll start by removing the cable for the cooler. Pull the cooler off. Now this is an AMD processor, like what I was saying before. Let's apply a little bit of thermal paste. That's better. And let's put the cooler back on. Of course, this is tagged that this customer owns it. That will keep us from misplacing it as our own inventory or something that we can sell. Let's put this on. Let's attach the cable. Now, also in the objectives, we have to run 3D Mark, which is a performance evaluation program. We'll have to make sure we do that. But let's put the case back on. Now let's install under Tools our USB drive, which is where 3D Mark is located. Let's put our cables on. Keyboard, mouse, monitor, and power. Power that up. So let's install 3D Mark Advanced Edition. Restart. Now 3D Mark is a program that stress tests a computer to evaluate its ability to render high quality graphics. So let's run it. Now it's running very slowly because this computer is not the most powerful thing out there. So we just have to let it sit here and wait. We have to wait for it to run this test and return a score. Now while we're waiting, I'd like to comment that some of the future possible jobs you can take involve customers that want you to upgrade their machine to satisfy a certain benchmark score. Under the current way this program is built, these jobs will wind up costing you money, not earning you money, because it often happens you're paid a fixed amount of money to do the job, but it's up to you to get your hands on the parts, and you wind up spending more money in parts than you would actually get paid for the job. On top of that, it's not always clear, at least as far as I can tell, what upgrades to load in order to achieve a designated benchmark score. So my policy so far has been to reject the jobs that say, I want a benchmark score of X. Now there are other jobs where they want you to upgrade a computer to run a specific game in a certain way. Those are not so hard to do. We'll get to those later. So here we go. The test is complete. That's a pretty good score as far as I can tell. So let's shut it down. And this one's ready to go. So let's carry it out to the door. Alright, that's one down. What have we got next? Replacing the motherboard. We'll save that one for last. Okay. This one needs a new power supply. So let's put it down. This is a smaller computer. Little bitty thing. Okay. Actually, we just took off the back of the... we took off the back of the machine, but that's okay. Okay, so here's our power supply. Let me zoom in on that. Alright. So we need to start removing cables. So remove this cable, remove this cable. Of course, the outline around the PSU is still amber, it's not green, so we have to remove some more cables in order to remove the power supply. Let's look around. Here's one. And another one. Let's spin it around. Okay, now we can remove it. Got a couple of screws here. Alright, so power supplies. Here's the Power King 250 that the user said might not be powerful enough. It's used but still intact, so we're going to hang on to this in case it could come useful in a future job. But let's install this. And we need to start attaching cables. There's one. That's the power supply cable. We don't. Of course, that might be those might be the only connections. Nope, we got some more connections here that we've got to do. Spin this around. Motherboard connection. That's better. What have we got left? Okay, that's the cables, but we need to install a few things. Let's put the panels on. Okay, good. Let's spin this around. Put the other panel on. Now we have to run 3D Mark on this, so let's go to our tools, put the USB drive in. Good. Alright, let's power it up. This is curious. Did I miss something? Let's see. Cables? Oh. We were missing one connection. Probably the connecting the power button to the motherboard. Let's try it again. Yep, there we go. That's better. Looks like 3D Mark is already on here. Let's run it. Now I can step away and walk around while this runs. This will come in handy in the future because over time we'll be able to unlock additional work tables, and what you can do is get a 3D Mark test running on one machine, then turn around, walk over to your other table if you had one, and do some additional work here. While this is running, I can probably get paid for the one job I've completed. Here we go. Collect. Oh, looks like we already got a response. Let's see what the doctor says. Doctor says, "Hello there. Thank you for fixing my PC. Since you added the thermal paste, it is running nicely. I didn't realize the business is under new ownership. A good thing, too, I think. I've been impressed with your timely fixing of this issue, so I'm happy to give you another chance. I shall recommend you to anyone that needs work doing. Regards, Dr. Waterman." Well, that's good. That's good news. Let's see how that benchmark is running. Almost done. Oh, uh-oh. Did I halt it by mistake? I'm sorry. We'll run that again. What have we got up here? Is that a fire extinguisher? Looks like it. Well, safety first. Okay, benchmark is done. Very good. So let's shut it down. One last check. Okay, this one's done. Ready to go out the door. Okay, last one. Now this one, we need to replace the motherboard. This will take a little bit of doing. So, first thing we gotta do is crack the case. Basically, we're gonna have to take this thing apart, mostly. So, let's start by removing the graphics card. Alright. Now, let's remove the air cooler. Air cooler is off. Let's remove the memory modules. Let's give you a good look at that. Now let's just zoom in as close as we can. Let's open the CPU shield and remove the CPU. Okay. Now let's remove some cables. Okay, now we can remove the motherboard. Now, before we remove the motherboard, we need to remove these screws. Okay, so the motherboard's out. Now, these are the standoffs to provide a little bit of clearance between the motherboard and the case. From what I understand, if you screw a motherboard straight to the case, you risk cracking the motherboard as you tighten those screws. Okay, so the standoffs are gone. Alright, so time to install the actual motherboard. So let's look at what we got. We have this one. That's the broken one. We're going to sell that. Let's take our new one, put that in place. First we have to put the standoffs on again. Okay. Tighten the screws into the standoffs. Alright. Next step, let's install that CPU. Open the shield. Install the CPU. Close the CPU shield. And let's apply some thermal paste. Actually, I wonder if we install the thermal paste first. Let's check that out. Tools, thermal paste. Now let's close it up. Install. Cooling. Okay, let's make sure the cables are in place. Okay, there's the air cooler. Let's connect now the... Actually, let's... Okay, so we have to do some cable connections here. So we've got a connection here going to the other side down here. Let's zoom in. See? So let's connect that. That's better. Now let's spin it around. We have a connection here on the case. To the motherboard. Another connection here. Spin it around. Zoom in. Another connection here. Connect the hard drive to the motherboard here. And I think that does it for cable connections for the moment. But we still have more parts to install. Let's mount the graphics card. Alright. Any cables on that? No. Okay, so let's install the memory. Zoom in to get a better look. Alright, good. Now let's put the case back together. Okay, looks like it's back together, so let's connect the cables here. All right, let's boot this thing up. And it's working. Very good. So let's shut that down. And put this by the door. And collect our pay. Okay, and there you have it. So that's another round of repairs. So this gives you a good taste of what this game is like. In future videos, I may come back after I've leveled up some and give you a taste of what running this shop is like when we have more exotic jobs to do and when we have some extra tools at our disposal, such as a second and maybe a third work table and some additional software tools as well. So thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you next video.